Welcome back to the Mars Colony on Farming Simulator 22 for episode 9 with me, Mr. Sealy P. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the Mars Colony, just a quick update before we move into February. We're January 2, snow has stopped, we'll be moving into February. I think our beets are not far off being ready to harvest. So what I need to do now is pre-order equipment that we need for coming. As you can see, we've gone over 1 million with our money, so all the mining, all the minerals, all the gems, all that stuff, that's all chugging away quite happily in the background. Our prefab wall sections are still continuing, so when we're ready for fabrication of workers' cabins, we'll be able to do that. We've got logs, we've got planks, we've got boards, we've got everything we need, so that's all good. And also to say that in January 1 I planted the next 948 trees. So of the area that we cut down, what I've also done is extended this out further. So it only came a bit further back there before we got to the original sawmill. So I extended it out further. We've stuck another 948 in, so 3 of the boxes that we've been doing every month, we've been putting them in. And we have got a big patch in the middle that actually we didn't cover. So just actually looking over at the beach. No, not really yet, are they? Where is it? There is a patch in the middle. Here we go. So we've got a gap in the middle here to put some more in. So when we get into February 1, the next 948 trees will be going in. And I'll do this middle section here. I haven't cut any more trees down the far end yet because we've still got enough lumber in there at the moment. Once this area is filled, if we start to run low on lumber, once I've got enough of the prefab wall sections, then I think everything else is set to selling now. We'll set that to selling as well. That would be golden. And then I'm also waiting on, if we go to here, onto here, if we go to our grass drying, you will see that we've got 19,000 litres of hay. Sorry, here, 19,000 litres of hay, 19,000 litres of silage, because we've got both of those running at the moment. It's not running as fast as I thought it would do. But to be fair, we can feed the sheep grass, so that's not a problem. So we can get the sheep. Actually, I'm just thinking, should we get the sheep now? When I said we'd end up over 1 million litres, we got over 1 million litres anyway. I think when we were all done, it was 1,200,000 and something thousand litres. I think it was to 1,236,000, I think, and the extra 236,000 is in one of the spare silos, which will then come into this to be made into hay. So I think we might get the sheep in now, you know. That's probably not a bad idea. Then they can be chugging away, can't they? We'll get them going. So yeah, just this was kind of, I was going to do an update and then hop over into February 1, but no, we'll do the sheep because we can feed them grass. And that can just carry on chugging away. So I will see you. I thought I had a tractor up here. What did I do with it? Must have moved it. Bees are continuing, doing their thing. Once these run out, still got 705 bees in there, so they're still going. And as I said, once these run down to 0, then we'll put standard hives in the front row. And as I said before, when I said about the sheep, I said, but there's 3 sheep pens, each one does 65. So if I put half in, I think if I put in 33, when they reproduce, it would go to 66, but they only hold 65, and then we'll feed them, and then that'll be half the sheep in. Oh, that was what I was going to do as well. When we go and get the sheep, I'll show you. I was going to show you something really cool, wasn't I? About my my notes, my to-do list. I've got my arm wrist pad sorted, and I'll show you it. Let's go over. I'm going to be using the herdsman stick. I was looking at all different options for transporting them across. It's not far to walk. We'll herd them. We'll herd our animals across. Why not? Corn's growing nicely. That's still a phenomenal view. It's just such a... Your mind's like, what is happening? It's just, yeah, I don't know. So as I head over to the animal drop-off dealer location point, which is just over here, I'm going to put up on the screen now. It's FarmSim Boy, kind of. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. Obviously, I've added 948 trees onto there. I haven't put a running total. I'm just going to keep putting the 948, 948 every time, and then I'll have a total at the end, hopefully, when we hit our target. And then, obviously, after today, there'll be half the sheep. I'll put a little note on there as well. And I think as we go into February, like I say, I'm pretty sure the first of our crops will be ready to go, and it's the beet. I don't know if we'll get 800,000 litres. I wouldn't have thought so off there. But we'll get a big chunk towards that. And again, if I take that as being my first crop, I might put red beet under crop 1 and then how much we've got, and we'll store it. So that's kind of, that's the plan. So a bit more sort of farming related stuff today. Where is it? Here we go. So our Mars stick. No. Pick up. There we go. That's what we needed. So what we want then is sheep. I'm going to go with, right, 33 of those. Then we go to 33 of those, and then 33 of those. Let's herd. So what I'm ordering, the money will go. The money go down. It will go up again because obviously when we go into February, all of the salads, the various different products going to the oil refinery, the wood, everything, the honey, everything that we've got selling at the moment is contributing to the overall increase every month or half month. So the money will go down a chunk, but it will go up a chunk, and we're going to order. I'm going to order one of the, and I've used them a lot lately, but again, I don't care. That's what I'm using. It's going to work, and it'll work well on here. It'll be a slightly different design on it. I'm going to go for one of the multi-crop harvesters. I looked at various different options, and it's the only downside, unless you're doing multiplayer, and it's one thing, you know, when you see root crops being harvested, what I've seen in the UK anyway, like, I haven't been everywhere, but what I have seen, you have multiple machines if they're running big machines. If you're running the more trail behind type stuff, you might have multiple machines running. Rick messaged me this morning, sent me a picture out of his cabin. He's out near the Black Mountains, the Welsh borders. There were 5. I'm sure it said it was the picture of a video. There were 5 tractors in the field and multiple bits of machinery. And if they're doing their root crops like that, and especially if you've got a trail behind one, it might take you a week to do a field. And obviously in game, spending a week doing one field, it's not a viable thing. So whilst the equipment and machinery we get and got as part of the premium is realistic and true to form, it's not designed for big field work. It's not designed for doing a lot of those crops. You know, even doing a fairly small size field with one of those ones, especially the ones that require pallets. And don't get me wrong, when I did all the looking at, and I keep saying don't get me wrong, but when I did all the stuff looking at them when they came out, they look fantastic. They look absolutely amazing. And the ones where you put the pallets on and the pallets fill up and come off the back and you go along, you pick, it's great. It's an awesome process. But again, no good for massive field work. It's just too much, way too much. So unfortunately, yeah, quick and dirty, that's going to be the key. I think it's why a lot of people were quite pleased when those mods came out. If you are a complete and total 100% purist, if you are a complete and total 100% no mods, no cheating of any kind, that kind of thing, that's absolutely fine. But it's just not a viable thing when you're trying to put out multiple episodes. To spend a week doing one crop type, like I say, it's just not an option. Why didn't I go around the other way? I thought it was one of these ones up here. But it's this one. Hang on. Here's this one. This is for our sheeps. So we want here, don't we? There we go. So we'll put these ones in first. Move to husbandry. Thank you. First animals on Mars. Well, apart from us, of course, and whatever Martian creatures may be lurking in the depths. Lots of Jeremys and Jeremeses. Jemimas? I don't know. In we go. So let's say that's half in each one. So when they reproduce, it will take it to 66. They hold 65, so that will be, we will be full. So what I've got to do now is go and get the grass to feed them. They don't need anything else. These are standard barns, so just grass going in. And then obviously we're going to have all of the wool coming out from that. The wool, as far as I know, just gets returned. I suppose we could. It's all of these processes, all of these things that we're creating. If you were a colony and we weren't sending stuff back to Earth, I mean, the point about the whole premise of this, all these colonies, was that we're helping with Earth's resourcing and resources. But if we had left Earth completely behind, a desolate wasteland, and this was our new home, this was our colony, obviously, you know, you're looking at clothing, bedding, you know, all the various different things that wool can be used for. All the various different yarns and whatnot, and obviously there's, you know, there's food as well if you want to go down that route. It depends, you know, how you're looking at it. So I'm pleased. I'm very, very happy we got our first of our animals in. Take this stick back, go and get some grass. I have gathered up the smaller trailer only because the large one we got, the IT runner one, I think that'll be too high. The roofs on the sheep pens, I don't think because it does sit quite high on the IT runner back, whether they'd fit. So this end one here, as well as the 920,000 litres, was it? We've got in, was it 920? No, there should be more than that in there. 240, so it was 1,245,000 litres. So it was another 210 I got off those fields that I hadn't quite done. So we'll take this first. It might be a couple of runs backwards and forwards. That's fine. Now when I get the root crop harvester, we're going to get the multi-crop harvester. I'm going to get it standard capacity, and I'm going to get a fairly standard engine size. I'm not going to get one that does 150 miles an hour with a 2.5 million litre capacity. You know, the headers are usually a little bit wider as well. I think the one I'm going to get has a multi-head because there's different options, different versions available. The one that I used on Alma that required different heads, but I think I'm going to get one that's just one head does all. I think. Again, this is just down to not having to have lots and lots of different pieces of equipment and machinery, and having lots and lots of headers for transportation up here and that kind of thing. When it suits the narrative, that's what we'll go with. This one still tips actually. I'm not sure this is going to work either, because before that starts emptying, that's going to hit the roof. Can I come forward a bit? It's still unloading, that's all. Is that all of it? Okay. They are fed. Furthest out I can get. There we go. Trigger engages. Cool. I'll go and get some more. We'll top them up. And as I said in the last episode, I didn't cut any of the grass inside these. The first one I did, or the chicken one I did, but the other three I didn't. So if we do need any grass at short notice, we shouldn't do. Not with the amount we've cut now. We should be absolutely fine. But we can cut those if we want to. I just wanted grass in them. It just felt better having the grass in there. Right, that's the sheep done. Sheep are in, sheep are fed. First half of them in. So now we're looking at our first crop. Now, I'm saying it's going to be February. I'll show you what I mean. If we go to our, yeah, look. I mean, is that not the darkest, is it? It may not be February then. It'll be soon. Fairly soon we'll get on there. But when we go into February, I need to do the next 948 trees anyway. At some point, we'll start seeing some growth of some of the trees we've already put up. Not for a while yet. Is it the first year you might see some growth? I can't remember now. I don't plant trees very often, and when I have done, I've done it as a kind of nod to, look, you know, people want trees put back in again, and then often the Let's Play ends before they grow, especially before they even grow to maturity. So this will be sort of the first time. I mean, realistically, all it says is you've got to plant 10,000. If I wanted to, I could have just said, you know what, I'm going to order enough to do 10,000, and I'll just spend a day and I will plant everything in one hit. It was my decision to do it monthly. I don't have to do it monthly. I could do it all in one go if I wanted to, so I could already have put all 10,000 trees in if that had been my choice. That's pigs. Well, it's February 1. It's 8:07. I've just put in another 948 trees. Filled in that gap up the top that I was talking about. I put a run around the bottom ring here a little way, then went over and did the gap, and then I did have that weird thing again. From the start, as I drove out, all three of these were planting. So they were all planting at regular intervals. None of them stopped at any point. All three of them ran. That one emptied, that one emptied, that one didn't. It didn't make any sense to me at all. So what I then did with that one being on its own, I ran a ring around here of just one. I don't know if you can see. Well, you'll see when we get a little bit closer, but from a distance you won't be able to see. So I've run a ring of trees around the bottom. I left myself a bit of a gap there so we can drive up. But we've got a ring of trees that runs around the bottom as well here. So 948 trees, another lot in. So I think we're just over... We're over 5,000 now, aren't we? Pretty sure we are. So now, sheep have produced a little bit of wool. So we've got a little bit of wool on the way, which is fantastic. That can add into everything else that we're selling at the moment. And we'll go and grab our harvester because I was right. Luckily, I thought I was going to skip further ahead. Our red beet is ready to harvest. So I'm curious to see how much of a potential 800,000 litres of red beet we'll get, because that is going to be one of our crops, red beet. It's probably going to end up being all of the root crops. We'll do that. Or what I can do is one of the harvest cycles we do, we'll do one crop in all of the fields. That could work. That would work all right. Yeah, might give that a go. Oh, another thing was as well, I don't know if you saw in the previous episode, yeah, I borrowed one of these. I think it might be right at the very end of the episode, when I was talking about how much grass we'd collected. Borrowed one of these from another colony, so I thought, okay, what we'll do, we'll get one. So I've sent the other one back, and we've bought one. So we've got our own. This is a little bit bigger than one we had before, so I thought that'd be a little bit easier for when we do grass work. Again, that can stay for the time being, so we don't need it at the moment. But look at this. Oh, I went for that because it was very much like the tractors we got. But I've gone for the white neon lighting. We've got yellow underglow to match the... Then we've got white lights, white strobes. I thought it was very, very space, you know? Now, what I did also bring over, and I haven't sold yet, which was over at the cows, was the slurry spreader. We haven't got cows yet. We haven't got slurry yet. And if we do, I might use something else. I haven't really decided. So I thought, you know what, that's sitting there. We might as well return that. So we will repaint it. Doesn't need any repair, and we'll sell that back. So that's going back to Earth. And then when we do need something, we'll organise whatever it's going to be to come back up. So as I said, this at the moment we're at 50. No, not 55. 32 miles an hour, and it's got a 43,000 litre capacity. So we haven't gone with anything crazy. The header is a standard. Is it a standard? I can't remember now. Did I go for a standard header? It's standard width. There's a 10 mile an hour one, and there's. Oh, I might have gone for the. This might go at the speed of the harvester actually. But that's alright because I've kept the capacity the same. So what we need to do now is open that up. Put our beacons on. We don't technically need them, but this is a milestone, another milestone. So earlier in the episode, the milestone was getting the sheep. I've done it again. Gone 1, 2, 5. I keep thinking there's a strip that runs across here that gives us a sort of trackway across, and it doesn't. This isn't going to go particularly well. We've got a little bit of an angle over there. Cool. So getting our first crop out of the ground. I suppose technically grass counts, doesn't it? Because grass is a crop. You are planting it, you are harvesting it. So as you'll see as we go across here as well now, that our trees go right the way across. And I did a strip running down this way as well when I was doing the single row past the bee. Yes, all the way across now. We've got trees. I did a strip and I've left a gap wide enough for turning vehicles or for driving along. So as we go just past here, you'll see in a moment. Just about. There we go. A row of small saplings along here. Beacons off. What's it like from in cab? Whoa. That's freaky. Let's do it. It will be very telling. Oh yeah, I think I went for the header that goes at the speed of the vehicle. I'm glad I didn't go for the higher horsepower version then, because the next one up, it starts at 26, then 32, then 55 miles an hour, and then I think it jumps up to 150. So 32 is okay. I probably should have gone for the 26. So yeah, we'll see how quickly this fills up, and it will give us a gauge, because this is 43,000 litres. So I say this, and then I'm way off, but it will give us a gauge of just how much. Actually, we'll get lights on. And those. There we go. That's better. It will give us a gauge of whether or not. I wouldn't say we're going to be close to the 800,000 litres. It's hard to tell actually. We might. 2 full loads will be nearly 100. Well, it won't be nearly 100. It'll be 80 something. I don't know. Time will tell. I guess because gravity's less on Mars, it enables a vehicle that would normally be heavier and slower to be faster. Yep. Let's go with that. That does look really menacing. those spiked wheels, wow. I've never used them before on anything like this. And I thought, you know what? Why not? Quite a big gap between the rows of trees here, so well, not that they've got collisions on them yet or anything, so we're all good. Answers on a postcard, people. Answers on a postcard. What do we think? We haven't done a full round yet. We're nearly, I'll say nearly full. then that's always deceptive. Are we going to hit 800,000 litres on our first crop we get out of the ground, or are we going to be short? I'm thinking short. I reckon we might get 600,000, 650 maybe? Now I don't know whether or not the pipe on this, or the conveyor on this, when it's opened out, oh, here's all the stone I was talking about all around the edge. I haven't collected any of it, but it is all here. Whether or not the conveyor will go into that trailer. So what I'm thinking is, if it doesn't, what we might have to do, mind you, we can normally, we can raise that, there we go, so we'll raise that up and tilt that. But it might do. If it doesn't, we might have to put the container on the floor off of the IT runner. Actually, I didn't think this through, did I, for loading, especially with the saplings there. So, next check, let's see whether or not. I do like that white neon lighting around the edges, the strip lighting on that. Cool. So we'll see the first unload, and then we'll crack on. I suppose that wrist mounted thing, I was just thinking about, because it's a Pip boy, isn't it? Pip boy. I was saying Farm Sim boy, but I suppose it should be Farmer's boy, shouldn't it? The Farmer's boy. It was a pub we used to go to years and years ago with one of my dad's friends. I'm sure it was called the Farmer's Boy. Nope, it's not going to work. Oh. So unfortunately, buying this maybe wasn't such a good idea. But I guess the premise behind it is it should be on the ground and you unload into it. But then that means wherever we are on the field, we've always got to come back to this rather than taking this to it. But I suppose either way round, you've still got to travel the same distance, haven't you? I suppose. So let's unload that. Well, this only holds 60-odd thousand litres, so to be fair, we are going to have to go back and unload and a half. But I guess I could set a worker off on this. This isn't autonomous though, is it? We haven't really got worker housing sorted out yet. We can bunk people down in some of the facilities. And then we're off again. I've always wondered, I'm not sure, I think it does, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure last time I mentioned this people commented. But it was that same thing again, I think I got as many people said no as yes. When it snows, that's the same as rain, isn't it? You lose yield if you're harvesting in snow. I'm sure it is. Sorry. That all being said, I guess we just get on with it now. That's so Mad Max. And we'll have to repurpose this field. Give us some work to do. Oops, I did it again. I've done it again, people. We've managed to beat the snow. It's February 2. It took me quite some time. So it became very clear when I went to the first unload. And when I say oops, I did it again, I thought I was recording and I wasn't. I don't know why. I don't know if I was asleep or daydreaming or whatever, but did a whole section, a few unloads, and when I went back to, or went over to the silos, the food storage silos that we've got on site already in the colony, the 3 that it comes with, it wouldn't take red beet, which was a bit of a panic. So what I did, we had to rush order a new silo, which would take this additional crop type, or additional crop types. We were going to have to put a new one in anyway, because it requires 6 crops of 800,000 litres, and that was something I was going to say as well. Actually, let's get in here. Let's get in the warm. It's snowing again. It's showing snow all of today, and then it's showing rain March, April and May. That's not good. That's not good at all. So I lost 50,000 litres off the field. Now I've been going backwards and forwards, and I think we may have done it. I think I was trying to do the calculations, and again I lost track. I came to basically this is being done at a different point. I'll explain all of it in a minute, but I was trying to keep a tally. I thought I was recording, wasn't. Went to edit, realised it wasn't there. Because what often happens is, if I set it to record and I'm recording, great, brilliant. But then what will happen is, if I forget to hit record while I'm starting off, what you can do is you can, because it's constantly recording, that constant thing, you can then jump back, click on it, and you can hit the thing so it saves the previous however many minutes. Well, because I assumed in my head I'd already been recording, and for some reason also assumed that I'd saved it, I didn't do that. So when I came back out and went into the editing, I thought, hang on a minute, where's all that footage? And because at that point you can't go back in and then redo it, it just doesn't work. So unfortunately it went. My mind has been on other things. I put a post up yesterday. Yesterday, Friday, was a bit of a I'm going to have another. I've really messed up. I mean, I'm not going to lie. As I say, it's my own fault. I suppose, in a way, it is. If I was talking about something else, I'm in my head now. I'm thinking I was saying something else, and I interrupted myself, and I do that a lot. I'm going to check on the sheep because we're another month forward. Unless I go and get more stones, we are running low on stones, which means that again that's a finite resource that although the little quarry is pulling stones out, it's not a huge amount. So this money we keep earning. And another reason for me doing all of these, again, I was going to say, I had a few comments on the previous episode. I've had some people message me saying, well, it is about money because you do need, it is about money, yes, because I need to buy equipment and machinery. But the problem on this one is, like this harvest now that we're doing, if I have hit my target, if we have got 800,000 litres, which is what is required, part of the challenge put down by FarmerBOB on this map is you have to store 800,000 litres of 6 different crops for the continuation of the species, which means 800,000 litres of 6 crops I can't sell. So usually if you did a big harvest, you got 800,000 litres or more, brilliant, bonus, mega money, or keep hold of it till the money's brilliant. We can't sell it, I've got to store it, so I need money from other avenues. I need it coming in from elsewhere. So anyway, that's the situation. So how have I made mistakes and what's happened over the last 24 hours? Well, I posted a picture of a day yesterday, Friday, and this has been recorded Thursday and Saturday. Yeah, it's been a weird one. Mine and Mississippi P's van, our VW camper type doodad, was due its first MOT. I didn't buy it new, I suppose nearly new. It was a year and a half old when I got it, a year old. First 3 years you don't have to have an MOT, which is brilliant. If you're from outside the US, have I asked this before about MOTs? Ministry of Transport testing to make sure your vehicle is roadworthy legally, and it has to fulfil certain requirements, that kind of thing. So it's the first MOT it's had. Now it's only 3 years old, the van, so I'm thinking, well, you know, there shouldn't be anything major. Could be some wear and tear, maybe tyres, that kind of thing, but I don't put a lot of mileage on it every year either. And the last year we haven't done as much travelling to the Lake District as we usually do. So anyway, it was due its yearly service, and also because it came with its warranty, it's 30,000 mile or 3 year service, and its first MOT. So, and I've said this before, I have to go to another place quite away from home. It's the only place that does van work on VWs. The place that's about 2 miles from where I live doesn't. They only do cars, so I have to travel that way. And they say, well, you can wait with it. You know, it seemed pointless for me to drop it off, come home. By the time I got home, I'd be at home for about an hour, then have to go back again to get it. So I said, no, I'll wait. Turns out that wait ended up being 3 hours or so, maybe a little bit more. So the woman came in. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So that's what I got sidetracked. I had to pre-order and get installed a new silo. Did I say that already? Yeah, I'm having a bad few days. Answer as a percentage today, 60% maybe, I think. So these three, I've renamed these. I've got food storage 1, 2, and 3, and this is food storage 4. This takes everything. I just thought it makes more sense. It fits the same style. It's all kind of. It's just a little bit bigger. That's all. So we should be able to get all our storage and stuff in. So our money went down again, and it's come back up a bit because of the stuff that we're producing. So I was there about an hour, and the woman said for some reason they were short-staffed and there was something wrong with their MOT bay, which was brilliant. So she said that we are actually MOTing off-site. So the vehicle had to be taken elsewhere for its MOT, then brought back anyway. She comes in after the service and says, oh, you've got a coolant leak off one of your pipes, and it's leaking onto the ECU. Oh, right. Now, my way of looking at it, and I'm no engineer, I'm no engine builder, I'm no mechanic, I never have been. I've tinkered with cars over the years, but nothing. Why would you put the ECU below or near pipes that carry water that naturally over time can degrade, can potentially split, could potentially leak? Why wouldn't you put them elsewhere? Or wouldn't you put the ECU in a container that's watertight? So that can't happen? Anyway, so the ECU's fine, but pipes going to need replacing and sorting out. So we can't do it today. We're fully booked up. You're going to have to bring it back for that. So I said, okay. How much is that going to cost? She said, no, you're still under warranty. I said, oh, thank, yeah, that's brilliant. Turns out my warranty expires in 2 days. You can't make this up. So she said, if we put the work order in now, it's covered by warranty. Awesome. Happy days. Let's put this in. And then we'll check to see how much we've got. Have we hit our target? So, okay, brilliant. So it's going to go for its MOT. I'll let you know how we get on. She said, hopefully it passes, blah, blah, blah. You know. But she said, you know, you never know. There could be anything, you know, you just don't know. Could be suspension, brakes, anything. Could be light bulbs gone. Could be wipers it fails on. All sorts of things it can fail on. So I waited and waited. And because she'd originally said, oh, no, it's only going to be, it'll probably be a couple of hours. It won't be 3, you know. And it went on and on and on. I thought, okay. So then my thought was, because I had to drop off at 10, so it's going to be through to like 1, a little bit after 1. And I thought, well, potentially the garage that's doing the MOT or whoever's doing the MOT, they've gone for lunch. That could be why I'm waiting. So then she came in and she said, oh, got more bad news. It failed the MOT. Let's have some good news for a moment. We did do it. 1,052,002 litres. That 2 litres tipped us over the edge. We've got our first crop. We have our first crop in the bag with 200,000 litres to spare. That's showing grassline sugar beet. Why would we have sugar beet in the silo? We haven't. Huh? I'm racking my brains now back through the episodes. Why would we have sugar beet in the silo? We haven't harvested anything. I didn't buy sugar beet. Why would I have bought? Didn't need sugar beet for anything. When we came on here, we haven't done any harvesting, have we? Why would there be sugar beet in the silo? That makes no sense. But I mean, that's good. We've got over 8 out, so we've got our first crop. That's a tick in the box. Happy days. We've achieved something. Oh, now I've got to go and plough that field in the snow. So well, at least that's done. It just give me 200,000 litres over and above, which we could sell. So I could take 200,000 litres out and sell it. We could send that back to Earth as long as we keep our. I might even do that actually. Should we send some back? I'm curious to see what. Well, we'll fill this up. I'm curious to see what. I haven't checked what it's selling for. We'll drive over, do that, and then I'll get with the plough, and then I can finish off my story, and that'll be the end of. How do I take out of here? I don't know. Oh, it's under there. Buffoon. There it is, right there. Right. So, anyway. Let's fill this up and take it. I've hit my target, good, that's got to stay in storage, brilliant. Unlike the trees where you haven't got to wait for them to grow, it just says you've got to plant 10,000 trees. You have to have these crops in storage. I don't suppose you've got that technicality where you can say, well, it was in storage. I did have it in storage and now it's gone again. I think we have to store it. I think that's the challenge. You've got to get the crops in. But one down, that's brilliant. 5 to go. I think sugarcane could potentially be another one. We could hit our second with that, but then the other 4, you have to be other things. Let's take this over. So anyway, carrying on with the story of woe and despair. So yeah, she comes in. She says it's failed MOT. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so what's it going to be? Tyres or something? Brakes or something like that. There was an advisory. The brakes need a little bit of, I think one of the front brakes are worn a bit, but not that require immediate work or anything like that. So your wing mirror has failed on your wing mirror. So I don't know if, again, it depends how long you've been watching for. Way back, probably last year sometime, no, maybe a year and a half ago, our van was parked out in the street where we live, and sometimes if you're driving down a narrow lane or something like that, or down a narrow street, and you might pass a vehicle coming the other way, and you might both be too far over, or the other person might be too far over, and you can clip wing mirrors. Oh, I've done it again. I can't go that way. I don't mind driving across the grass, but I'm not driving across the crops. And you can clip wing mirrors, and sometimes you'll shatter a glass or out of your mirror, or it'll break it, and they're kind of spring loaded, so they'll bounce back. That's kind of they're designed to do that. Well, mine was parked in the road, and a cement lorry came up the road. Well, I say cement lorry. I'm making an assumption there. There was some building works going on down our road, and there were cement lorries up and down. It could have been anything, but anyway. I wake up in the morning, go out the front, and my wing mirror is smashed off. I mean, off. It's on the floor. The glass is broken. I pick it all back up, manage to get back onto the van. Miraculously, the electrics, I just plugged the electrics back in. The electrics are working, but the mirror's broken. The housing's broken. And the bracket that holds it to the vehicle, because they're these, I've never had a vehicle with them before, those newfangled ones where when you park, you can fold your mirrors up out of the way to stop that happening. Well, I hadn't done that because I'd never had a vehicle that had them before, so it's not something I do out of habit. So a vehicle driven up the road, whatever it was, and it had hit the mirror, not going towards it but away from it, and it had taken it completely off, and it had bent the bracket that it's on. So for the last year, I can still see out the mirror, but obviously it's in multiple, it's cracked across it in a spider web. Not even dawned on me, whoa, that was close, not even dawning on me that would be an MOT failure. It just didn't cross my mind. So the first thing I said to her was, can I just replace the mirror? And she said, you know what? I asked exactly that question because it'd be a lot cheaper. But apparently, because it functions, it has to function correctly. And when they put them up, then put them down, it goes past the rotation point of where it's supposed to stop. So technically, it's not usable how it's intended. Plus, the glass does need to be replaced. The housing's broken. Blah blah blah. 450 quid that's going to cost me, and that's not covered under warranty because someone did that, and because they didn't stop when they did it, no insurance details were exchanged. So yeah, so I don't know, it's a kind of good and bad. I'm kind of happy in a way that the other stuff is covered under warranty. We jammied that. We were just lucky that worked. I'm already paying for a service plan, so I didn't have to, I pay monthly for a service plan, but the fact that's got to be fixed now didn't even cross my mind. I was looking online yesterday when I got home, because obviously then by the time I got home it was late. There's all stuff going on with Giants at the moment. We're not actually going to earn very much off the red beet at all, are we? I'm better off just keeping it in storage. It's one of those things, isn't it? Yields high but pays low. 15 grand for 60,000 litres, 65,000 litres. Not good. Right, I'm going to drive over and we'll get playing. So yeah, I mean, I'm not doing the kind of, oh, poor me, that kind of thing. It's just annoying. It's that frustrating thing, and my mind's been all over the place. And I got back yesterday. The DLC, the new DLC, it's due out on Tuesday. A lot of people had early access to that. I'm putting up their videos yesterday. While I was waiting for the van, I was watching VF live streaming, and the DLC has a lot of problems. It's not working properly. So Giants were scrabbling a little bit yesterday, as far as I'm aware, to get it fixed for its release on Tuesday. And I'm saying this, and I'm talking to Miss Silly P, and I'm saying about this, the van and everything that's going on, and how annoyed I was and gutted. I'm looking online trying to find somewhere I could get the wing mirror cheaper, maybe, or because under MOT I can get the MOT work done anywhere. It hasn't got to be done at VW. It's not covered under warranty, so I can get it done anywhere. It just has to be retested. But the van's got to go back anyway to get the coolant leak and stuff sorted, which is under warranty. So I'm trying to find somewhere cheaper. I'm looking at breakers and scrapyards, thinking if I can find a van that's been in an accident, the van might be absolutely mauled, but the wing mirror might be alright. I couldn't find anywhere, not locally, anywhere that had anything. So yeah, it's been a bit kind of all over the place. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, it's got to go back regardless. So I had to ring them and say, look, yeah, okay, we're going to have to go ahead with it. So we booked it in. Brilliant stuff. All booked in, all sorted. So last night, I thought, you know what, I was frustrated. I was annoyed. I was a bit, and I thought, I'm not in the right frame of mind for sitting down and making a video. I'm not necessarily am at the moment, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. That's life. Things happen, I've had plenty of cars over the years that don't pass their MOTs. I mean, one of the worst ones I had, I think it was 1,1700 quid, the work that needed doing. It was horrifying. It's that thing of, unless you've got that money sitting around somewhere, you've got a slush fund. And I know people say, oh, you're a YouTuber. I don't, I cover my bills. I'm not, So yeah, anyway. So it's booked in. I'm talking to my daughters. One of my daughters, she's gone away for the weekend. One of my other daughters came home with the third of my daughters. They were going to go to the cinema last night, so she'd popped in to say hello. She was giving the other daughter a lift to the cinema. So they were asking about the van and what had happened. I was chatting away, and I said, "Oh, it's booked back in." I said, "I don't suppose anyone's available to give me a lift because I've got to take it in. I've got to leave it there for 2 days, then go back." I said, "But obviously, because it's a long way away, I don't want to Uber home. It costs a bomb. Is anyone available? Could you possibly?" They're all working. No one can give me a lift. It is what it is, but that's how it is. I explained it all. Explained when it was booked in. Everything sorted out. Great, lovely. I was walking up the stairs to go to bed last night, and it suddenly hit me. It's booked in for Tuesday. Tuesday is the day the new DLC releases. Honestly. And doing what I do, you need to be, because I'm on console, I've said this before, my choice. We get sent early access sometimes by Giants. The higher you are on the partner program, the earlier your access. So I got PC access the other day, but I was taking the van. I was sat there for 3.5 hours, couldn't do anything with PC access on it. And if I use the PC access, it's only ever to have a look at it, have a look over any DLC to see what's there, look at the kit, maybe make some notes. I don't know what slot counts and stuff are because I don't have them on PC. So normally I then wait for the console version to come out and then I do my review. So it drops on whatever day. So whatever day the DLCs come out, I've got to be Johnny on the spot, I think, because I'm doing the console version of it. Now I've got to go to take the van Tuesday. It didn't even dawn on me. And the problem is I can't. Again, I tried to rebook it. I rang up and said to them, look, any chance we could change the date? Well, that's the only date we can fit you in, and MOT failures have to be sorted out in 10 days. It used to be 14, but I think it's 10 working days now, which is 2 weeks, it's 14 days. So yeah, I don't know. Like I say, apologies this last bit if it appears all over the place. I'm annoyed with myself because I goofed with the save. It's just like I say, it is what it is. Life throws you curveballs, and it's how you bounce back. It's, you know, and like Mrs. Silly P always says to me, look, we just deal with what's in front of us. We, you know, depending on how bad a situation is, deal with the next hour, deal with the next 10 minutes if you have to, deal with the next day. Don't deal with next week, next month, 6 months, or a year down the line. Don't worry about that yet. Let's deal with what's in front of us, and we'll work our way through. You know. You know, it's absolutely right, and everyone, you know, we all do it. It's difficult not to, isn't it? When something happens, you react emotionally, mentally, psychologically, you know, all of those things that affect you as a person. You can't help that. That's what makes us human. It's what makes us, you know. If you don't react, if you're not bothered, I suppose if you're mega rich, mega wealthy, if money's no object, when these sorts of things happen, it doesn't matter, does it? It's that thing of, oh yeah, okay, it's 450 quid, bang, sorted, you know. And if I go back a couple of years, it probably wouldn't have been too much of a problem. If before I bought the van, isn't it funny? It's that strange situation that the channel was doing all right. I thought, oh, we'll get a new. I've said this before. Well, let's get a new car. We've never had a new car. We've never owned a new car. We wanted to get a van. Wanted to get a VW sort of camper type van. Let's do that. We can travel more. We can do more. But I hadn't thought far enough ahead. In that, in buying the van, it used up my disposable income. So, rather than having a van to then be able to go away whenever we wanted to, because it's using the disposable income, I don't have the disposable income to go away whenever we want to. It's that weird, you know. So spare money that you usually had, and every month you could pay off your bills, pay off your credit cards, whatever it was you were doing, I bought a van. And again, I've talked about this before. You can tell I'm, like I said, when I'm 60%, I'm 60% today. I'm not having, all these things are bubbling through my mind. And I think I'm just expressing them to you guys. Anyone out there who's listening, anyone who's a sympathetic ear, it's just sort of, it's how I vent, you know, when I do whatever I'm doing. And I said to Miss Silly P, I've said a couple of times over the last sort of 6 months or so, it was the best and worst decision I've made over the last couple of years. It's fantastic and I love it, and it's awesome to drive, and it's fun when we're using it and that kind of thing. When we're not using it, it's an expensive paperweight that sits out the front of the house. I suppose like anybody that's paying finance on a car or van or vehicle, if you're running a business or whatever it might be, it's I don't know. If I could go back a couple of years, would I buy it again? No, I wouldn't. I'm just, I don't know. Like I say, it is what it is. You just got to focus on, you know, it's done. I'm dealing with it. I said to Mr. P that I think we should maybe sell it. We should, you know, look at speaking to the finance company and saying, look, this, I don't know, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm sure by tomorrow I'll be feeling a lot better, a lot happier about it. It will go in Tuesday, it'll have the work done, I'll get back Tuesday from dropping the van off, I'll do my DLC review, it will all be fine, it will all be absolutely fine, but it's all that kind of, you know, I'm thinking ahead too far. Anyway, the good news was we've got our sheep in, the first half of our sheep, and we've hit our first crop target. I apologise for complaining. I apologise if I've brought anyone down or annoyed anybody. It was not my intention. Like I said, I guess I'm just venting. I'm just sort of saying things out loud. I'll decide what crop we're going to put in here. I'm going to have to get the stones off of here as well, but we'll get it ploughed. I can fertilise this whenever I want, because we're not running precision farming on this one. We're just running this normally, so we can plant and harvest whenever we want. It just runs through the cycles of however long it takes. We're precision farming on Evergreen Valley, but not on here. So I just need to get all this done. That's get the stones off. Get that. I forgot to turn stones off, didn't I? Mind you, we do need some more stones, so I guess it will help. But anyway, that's the situation. That's where we're at. And we have done some farming today. Like I say, admittedly I'd missed some of the recording of some of it, but we've done sheep. I did the trees off camera because I didn't want to have to put you through 948 trees being planted every month. That's that's something I have to do off camera. And we got our first harvest done. We've hit our first target. We're all good. If you noticed, I keep reiterating the same thing. I'm just trying to make sure it's I'm happy in my head with what's happened. I'm justifying it all to myself. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.